Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, Cabinet Ministers, Assistant Ministers, Honourable Leader of the Opposition and fellow Members of Parliament and fellow Fijians, Nisambula Saka. I rise in support of the 2026-2027 budget, and I do so with a solid focus on the vital role that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and External Trade plays in safeguarding Fiji's sovereignty, advancing our economic interests, and projecting our voice on the global stage. To ground our operational strategy for the year ahead, I have to turn to the timeless wisdom of the Gospel according to Luke chapter 14, verse 28, which reads, "For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it?" Mr. Speaker, this profound scripture text defines the exact approach the coalition government has taken. We have sat down, we have evaluated our global targets, we have meticulously counted the cost, and this budget represents an intentional, highly detailed operational blueprint to expanding Fiji's international footprint while maintaining absolute financial discipline, transparency, and of course, value for money. And I thank the Honourable Minister for Finance, Permanent Secretary Qereqeretabua and their team for their leadership in articulating a budget that reflects the aspirations of our foreign policy. I also acknowledge the Minister for Foreign Affairs and External Trade, the Honourable Sakiasindi Toka, for his leadership, and I want to express my appreciation to the Permanent Secretary for Foreign Affairs and External Trade, Dr. Richeli Tanga, who is probably watching from New Zealand right now, and our teams, both at headquarters here in Suva, in Nandi, and around the world for their continued commitment and guidance. Mr. Speaker, international diplomacy cannot simply be measured by high-level delegations, abstract strategies, or handshakes at international summits. The true measure of our global success is found in the daily operational mechanics of our foreign service in our overseas missions, our trade offices, and our bilateral negotiations. Our overseas missions, sir, have continued to facilitate trade and investment opportunities, promote tourism, support labor mobility initiatives, and provide essential consular services to Fijians living, working, and traveling abroad. One of the defining features of this government's foreign policy has been the restoration of trust. International partnerships are built on credibility, consistency, and mutual respect. The coalition government has demonstrated that Fiji is a reliable partner that honors its commitments, engages constructively with all countries, and pursues diplomacy based on dialogue rather than division. And this is why the 2026-2027 budget is designed to align spending directly with performance metrics. Under this framework, sir, every single dollar is tied to measurable operational outcomes. We are evaluating our offices by how effectively they secure foreign development assistance, open fresh trade corridors for Fijian exports, accelerate the processing times for investor visas, and provide streamlined consular services to our vast diaspora. Mr. Speaker, counting the cost means equipping our frontline global team with the exact financial resources required to deliver. And I'm immensely proud to highlight this, that in this national budget, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and External Trade, as we heard yesterday from the Honourable Minister, has been allocated a total of $56.6 million. And this sends a clear message to our global allies that Fiji is expanding its international presence. This funding is explicitly structured to sustain our global footprint through the existing 14 strategically placed diplomatic missions, 1 Suva-based regional mission, and 4 dedicated trade commissions globally. Let me break down this $56.6 million allocation so that this august House can understand where the rubber meets the road. First, a critical priority within this total is the $6.3 million set aside exclusively to operationalize our newly established diplomatic mission in Jerusalem and to successfully reopen our foreign mission in Brussels. These 2 missions are vital for expanding our strategic reach, reinforcing key economic connections with foundational global markets, and strengthening Fiji's voice in regional and international affairs. Second, under the Standard Expenditure Group 1 on established staff, sir, our personnel costs across the globe are now managed through a unified personnel emoluments allocation. And this simplifies bankroll tracking across our local policy offices in Suva and our posted diplomatic staff, stationed worldwide, ensuring we remain agile when deploying diplomatic talent. Third, our operational machinery relies heavily on standard expenditure Group 4 under maintenance and operations. And this funding goes directly towards the upkeep of Fiji's overseas chanceries, diplomatic residences, and to securing global communications networks. And this ensures we preserve state-owned assets and prevent the long-term deterioration of our embassies abroad. Fourth, under standard expenditure Group 5, the purchase of goods and services, our procurement processes have been strictly optimized, and this funding covers vital operational inputs, diplomatic logistics, and specialized global services across our overseas missions, all driven by strict cost containment measures and centralized oversight to completely prevent wasteful spending. The ministry also works in synergy through our diplomatic network to drive the crucial cross-border policy monitoring, global partner alignment, and international treaty adherence necessary to safeguard our borders and dismantle transnational crime networks. Mr. Speaker, this integrated approach has strengthened confidence amongst development partners and created new opportunities for cooperation in infrastructure, in education, health, agriculture, renewable energy, maritime security, and human resource development. Our Foreign Service is not just a symbol, it's a driver of opportunities. They are economic outposts working every day to secure things including technical partnerships to strengthen our local industries, new markets for Fijian products, security arrangements and our role in international peace and security, and scholarships for our young people. Our diplomats have robustly represented Fiji in regional and multilateral forums, ensuring that the priorities of small island developing states remain visible on the global agenda. Whether advocating for climate justice, sustainable ocean management, development finance, or peace and security, Fiji has remained a credible and influential voice. We must recognize that diplomacy is an investment, not merely an expense. Through proactive diplomacy, we are transforming international goodwill into tangible domestic benefits. Every successful negotiation that features grant financing reduces pressure on the national budget. Mr. Speaker, every investment promotion initiative creates employment opportunities for Fijians. Every export agreement opens new markets for our producers and those in the MSME sector. Every labor mobility arrangement provides employment opportunities and income for Fijian families and valuable skills for our workforce. And every international partnership strengthens our national resilience. The returns generated by effective diplomacy extend far beyond the ministry's annual allocation. Mr. Speaker, Fiji remains steadfast in its commitment to regional leadership and cooperation. As a trusted voice in the Blue Pacific, we will continue working closely with our Pacific neighbors to advance our shared priorities, including climate action, ocean governance, regional security, economic resilience, and sustainable development. And through this budget, sir, we reaffirm Fiji's commitment to strengthening regional institutions, promoting Pacific solidarity, and ensuring that the collective voice of our region continues to shape the global agenda for the benefit of all Pacific peoples. On the regional front, sir, the Pacific Islands Forum, or PIFS, remains as Fiji's priority area of engagement, where important regional matters such as the reform of the PIFS architecture, regional security, oceans and climate change priorities, and trade negotiations continue to be pivotal areas for discussions by Pacific Island Forum leaders for the next financial year. As at the sub-regional level, sir, Fiji's leadership of the Melanesian Spearhead Group, or MSG, is an important area of focus for the next financial year. This includes working with the newly appointed Secretary General on addressing outstanding matters and resetting the strategic compass for the MSG operational focus for the next 3 years. Strengthening bilateral cooperation will be an ongoing area of focus, and for the new financial year, the focus will be on enhancing cooperation and technical assistance around HIV and AIDS and drugs to support the agencies responsible for addressing these issues. On the multilateral front, sir, the team is gearing up on preparations for the 81st UNGA, the 81st session of the UN General Assembly in September, of course, pre-COP in Fiji and Tuvalu in October, the 2026 Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Antigua and Barbuda in November, continued leadership of Peace SIDS as chair in New York, and in 2027, the first conference of the parties on the Biodiversity Beyond National Jurisdiction, or BBNJ, in the biannual EU-Fiji political dialogue. Mr. Speaker, this budget also supports the Ministry's commitment to strengthening engagement with the Fijian diaspora. Our citizens living, working, and studying abroad remain an important part of Fiji's national development. And through the development and the implementation of Fiji's diaspora policy, we will foster stronger connections with our overseas communities, improve consular and outreach services, encourage knowledge and skills exchange, and create greater opportunities for diaspora investment and partnerships. By harnessing the expertise, networks, and contributions of Fijians abroad, we can further advance our economic, social, and national development objectives. And the Ministry, sir, will be working on the implementation plan for the diaspora policy in the upcoming fiscal year. Mr. Speaker, executing a foreign affairs budget requires exceptional speed to navigate highly volatile global dynamics, sudden geopolitical shifts, and fast-moving international negotiations. Under the Financial Management Act 2004, this reform grants our Permanent Secretary the localized authority to manage variations within operational categories like daily diplomatic communication, urgent mission maintenance, and sudden travel logistics. And this cuts the red tape that previously stalled time-sensitive international engagements. However, this flexibility is balanced with absolute accountability, sir. The Ministry of Finance's new digitized budget platform integrates our global missions directly with headquarters in Suva. This ensures real-time monitoring and complete auditability of our operating costs, keeping us fully synchronized with our fiscal targets. Mr. Speaker, a major component of our ministry's daily mandate is managing and leveraging our relationships with external development partners. To maximize our reach, this budget properly maps out external funding to ensure there is no duplication of state resources. We tightly monitor direct development payments financed by foreign partners to ensure critical national projects move ahead without domestic administrative delays. And this budget also empowers Fiji to maintain its rightful place as the diplomatic hub of the Pacific. Furthermore, the aid-in-kind framework captures non-cash contributions of technical expertise, equipment, and international training from our global allies. By mapping these contributions transparently alongside our local revenue, we ensure that our line ministries stretch the Fijian taxpayer dollar further, aligning international goodwill directly with our national priorities. Mr. Speaker, the 2026-2027 budget is about making responsible choices today so that Fiji is stronger tomorrow. It demonstrates that the coalition government is prepared to manage public finances prudently while continuing to invest in our people, our institutions, and our future. It has capped unnecessary operational expenditures while systematically protecting the vulnerable and funding key growth sectors. For the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and External Trade, this budget provides the resources to continue protecting Fiji's interests abroad, strengthening international partnerships, and delivering practical benefits for every Fijian. This budget also ensures that Fiji remains economically resilient at home and diplomatically strong abroad. The baseline machinery of our global presence has been fully funded. We have sat down, we have counted the cost, and we have positioned Fiji to speak with a strong, unified, and respected voice on the world stage. We are expanding our trade frontiers, defending our regional borders, and building a sustainable future. Mr. Speaker, Fiji deeply values the continued support of all our development partners, whose contributions have been instrumental in advancing national development priorities. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and External Trade will continue to closely work with the line agencies and the development partners to address social and developmental challenges. The transformation of our economy, sir, is central to securing sustainable and inclusive growth in the decades ahead. Public-private partnerships, economic diversification, and value addition is essential in our resource-based sectors, including agriculture, fisheries, forestry, and indeed in tourism. I acknowledge the dedication of our diplomats, locally engaged staff, and officers, both at headquarters in Nadi and across our overseas missions. Their professionalism continues to enhance Fiji's reputation globally. The mandate now shifts entirely from policy planning to active execution now, sir. And this budget demands a proactive culture from our diplomats, our trade officials, and policy teams to translate every dollar into a tangible economic return, a fresh investment, or a stronger partnership for the people of Fiji. So with that said, sir, with clear targets, robust financial discipline, and of course a profound commitment to Fiji's national progress, I have nothing else to add but to say that I fully support the budget and I commend this motion to the House. Thank you, sir. God bless Fiji.